Hello. Welcome, everyone. I think my Facebook page, for some reason, it didn't start on it. So I'm going to try to re add it, see if it'll let me.
Mm,
Yeah.
it do be fickle.
Yeah, I may not even be on Facebook if it don't work. I ain't going to fool with it a whole lot, but it looked like it worked. We'll see. Let me bounce over to Facebook and check it out. I don't know why. Out of all the apps, Facebook is the one that, like, so much trouble. So, what's up with you over there, Steve? What you been doing? I saw you out running around in a hoodie doing camping with 50-degree temperatures. What's up with that?
Well, that was only a couple days, and that was only in the morning,
So, the honeymoon
very
over
early
now?
morning. Ditched that pretty quick, but yeah, no, we we had a little bit of a cool down here midweek, and had a couple of nice days where it only got up to about 75. Overnight lows were about 55. So I took the opportunity to sneak out 10 minutes away and do a little camp out to yeah, I had refurbished the tent. What, I don't know, May,
I was going to say, it's been a couple of months now.
and had hoped to get out and use it by now, but just every time that I tried, things kind of happened. Um, and so it was a good opportunity to get out and enjoy campfire, enjoy that, test that out. Tested out Starlink. I actually, friend Ryan had a little members only live stream, so I hopped on with him from the campfire. But
Yeah.
yeah, enjoyed a day. Well, not quite a day. I ran out after work, and um, so I kind of got there late. Got things set up. Had to, kind of after I did all the running around, setting things up, grabbing firewood. I'm like, shoot, it's 7 o'clock and I'm hungry. So
Yeah.
just kind of chilled out there for a bit, and then in the morning did a little running around the park and whatnot. But yeah, I had hoped to do more of that this year, but I'm hoping that we're kind of wrapping up in here into August. It'll be August next Sunday, and um, that gets busy for me. But I'm hoping September, after the semester starts at college and such, I'll have a little more free time and some cooler weather. Maybe get out a few more times,
Yeah.
but it's back up and hot, uh, quite hot. So I haven't spent a lot of time out here. I've been in the basement shop doing some 3D printing because you can kind of see it there. There's a little boom for the dust collection on the 150, so I was printing out some parts for that, and also trying to button up the Sculpt Fun E1 video. Got a little hung up on that one. They sent the 20-watt blue diode module. They also sent the 3-watt IR. So I did a bunch of tests with the 20-watt, and that went fine. I switched it over to the IR, and it functions fine. But of course, the modules, the laser isn't in the same spot. Why? I don't know. But kind of had to do a whole nother profile in Lightburn, and you kind of need to reconfigure it for that offset. So yeah, it was a little disappointing, a little frustrating to have to kind of do that when switching between the two, because if not, you could set up, like you could cut something out of acrylic with the blue diode, and then you could engrave it with the white one. And if they use the same output, you could home it and just go. But now, no, that's not the
Yeah.
case. So I was a little disappointed in that. I was kind of mucking around trying to figure out what the offset was and such, and so it's kind of set me back a little bit on that one. But hoping I'll finish that up here early this week and get that out. So it's kind of out of the way. Overall, if you stick with the blue diode laser for a 20-watt, I think the price on it is 800 and some. So for an enclosed 20-watt laser with a honeycomb and the ability, you can take the base plate out, rise it up, and you could, engrave on taller items or use a rotary that way. Yeah, it's kind of a good budget option for an enclosed laser. I would put it similar to the Creality A1 Pro I looked at. Obviously some slight differences between the two, but kind of in that class. So gonna try to get that wrapped up and out there in case people are curious about that one and want to check it out. But definitely wanting to finish up this so I need the dust collection going, because I moved the spoil board so it's in kind of the orientation it used to be, but I need to reflatten it, and that's a dusty operation.
Yeah,
so
you don't want to do that without dust collection. That you'll be looking like mine is right now, because my shop right now, there is a layer of dust on everything, because the other day my old computer that I used in here, which is an old forensic machine of mine that's got a RAID and everything on it, I converted it over and stripped it down to bare bones, and I just use it as a file server. Well, it had an issue the other day. Apparently the CMOS battery had died in it, and then when the power went out, I didn't pay attention to the fact that it stayed off long enough that they killed the battery backups. And so when they did, somehow the BIOS got corrupted. And by corrupted, I mean corrupted to the point where it wouldn't even power up. Like I couldn't get F2 delete. I couldn't get nothing. So luckily, and I didn't even know they did this. Luckily, Asus has it to where you can flash the BIOS without having to power the computer. All you got to do is put power to the motherboard. And so I was able to do that and got it back going. So that was a bit of a scare.
Yep.
But the RAID was fine. It was just the computer that has the RAID card installed in it. It wouldn't come on. And so I was like, man, I really don't have another machine with a big enough chassis to handle this. So, but I managed to, like I said, dig deep in some of my things that I used to do in a previous life, and I managed to get it back going. And all my stuff is where it needs to be, and the computer got a really good cleaning and dusting while I was in there. So it has no dust in it currently. Well, yeah. Very little dust in it.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing in a shop is to keep your electronics clean. So
yeah, and there's just no way. I mean, out here, I blow it out with the air hose, but there's only so much you can do without taking it apart. I mean, because you can get in there with the wand and get a lot of it, but you can't get into those crevices and stuff unless you start unseating things and removing parts and all that. So that's a bit of a debacle. But we got it back going. And this past week, Brandy and I have been working. She did most of the painting. Y'all saw the progress so far. But I now have a second space. So that's inside the house right there. And I got it painted. I got the Eufy in there. Got me like a little work area set up for the Eufy to do my UV printing and stuff. And kind of my logistics center for handling, my orders and stuff like that. So let me show you these pictures. I got some pictures I took that'll kind of give you a little better idea. So this is kind of like my little, because I still have a bed in there because it is still technically a guest room. So inside the closet, amongst a bunch of other storage and stuff, I created myself this little organizational area for like these little buckets right here. These are all parts that I've 3D printed that are ready to go out whenever they are ordered. And then my packaging material, stuff like that. Got all of that in there. How do I go forward on this? Where's my little button? So let me get my other. Oh, there it is. So this is my office / studio area in the house. And you can see I got it set up to where it does work with StreamYard and everything right now. And so I just got that set up. That's the old desk that I made back in. Matter of fact, the date that I made it is written under the bottom of it in Sharpie. I built that in 2020, just out of some old rough cut pine. Where did it go? Here we go. And then this is the other side of the room. Like I said, there is a bed in there and a dresser right now. This is the other side of the room. This is just basically a folding table. So 6-foot folding table with a skirt on it to keep the, look a little darker. And they got the Eufy with all the accessories and stuff set up in there. So that's where I'm going to start using it at. And this is kind of from the other side of the room. So yeah, got it up and operational. So I'm really really excited about that because I've never really had. I mean, I had my little corner of the living room, but it just wasn't really like laid out the way I wanted it to. So now I've actually got it set up. Still ain't working? No, you're going to buy a laptop. Bill has fried his laptop. He was hoping me and him have the same laptop. He was hoping it was a power supply, but apparently it is not. So Bill's going to be. Didn't you say you already ordered it, or are you fixing to order it?
Yeah, I ordered it. I ordered it a couple hours ago.
So, what is it we say? If you got one, you got none. Yeah, he's learning that lesson because he's been trying to run lasers and ain't got a computer right now. So
I got orders. Can't get my orders.
But that's about it. That's what me and Brandy's been doing at the house. Like I said, I've got it. That is actually it in the live stream right now. So if somebody was in there, they'd be able to communicate with us and all that. But I have I got up under the house this morning and of course ran some Cat 6 in there and got it all set up with a network connection, a hardline network connection. And so other than that, computer is a little on the weak side for doing any heavy streaming. It'll do for just, face streaming. It's not going to be handling a whole bunch of cameras or nothing, I don't think. But matter of fact, let me go ahead and get that thing out of here. All right. There we go.
So I had to run some errands today, and everybody was. I'm sure many people in 3D printing are aware that it's becoming more mainstream and more places are stocking it. And so, of course, I've got the awesome 3D printing store here in the mall that some of the people got to check out when they came here for the meetup. And you can't beat their selection. They have some decent prices. As a matter of fact, I needed a little bit of filament for something the other day, and he said, "Hey, I got a partial roll. Why don't you just take it home and use it up and bring it back and such." So I like to support places like that. The small businesses, the more family business kind of things. But we also have, of course, Hobby Lobby. We've talked about them and their filament, and we've got one of those in town. But they also have rumors of it showing up at Michael's. And so I did stop by, and sure enough, they did have a few. It wasn't a big selection, and it was mostly, they had PLA and PLA Plus. I don't remember if I saw too much else there. But I thought, hey, let's check it out. The nice thing about that is I think this normally was, I don't know, $13, $14. But you can also use their coupons there. And so I had a 30% off coupon from their website, one item. So I got this it was $10.49 plus some tax. So it was like $11 for the roll. So that's not too bad. Of course, that was one item. And cardboard roll shrunk up like this. We also have Best Buy in town. And I've heard that they have their Insignia brand doing filament, so I went there, and this was actually, they have it I think as cheap as $10.99 a roll for some of their basic ones. I think this one was a little bit more because it's technically matte, and decided to grab that and check it out. Also cardboard roll. And if you look at these, especially if I turn them around,
remarkably similar rolls there.
Yeah, pretty sure, and most people online say this too, that this is Polymaker filament. So I thought I'd try a roll from them. And of course, we also have Target. Oh, and also Best Buy is starting to sell bamboo printers. They had, I think, the A1s, A1 minis, and P2Ss. But then they stock their in-house brand filament. Target is also selling the A1 minis and legit bamboo filament on the plastic spools. I think it was like $22.99, so kind of your typical retail price. They don't sell the refill kits there as far as I saw. But I mean, that's 5 places in town that I have options now to buy film. And of course, I'm planning on supporting the the mom and pop shop in the mall as much as I can. But if you have, if you don't have a 3D printing store, you don't have a micro center, things like that, but you got a Michaels, maybe a Target, you might want to start checking them out. They might start having some filament available to you. So it's really cool to start seeing this stuff a little more mainstream, um, and available. So I'll be testing some of that out. I mean, these are just some PLAs, but they did have in the insignia at Best Buy. They actually had they had PETG, they had some TPU, they had some ABS. I mean, they had quite a few different types of filaments. So nice to kind of see some options out there if you're doing some 3D printing and don't necessarily have to order it in all the time. So we'll be doing some testing on that and seeing if, I mean, I don't imagine I'll have any issues with it. I'll see if I can find some Polymaker of the same colors and maybe just do some test prints, see if the colors look the same and whatnot. But anyway, it was kind of a cool thing to see it, more of it out there, and more available. Because as Clack's video says, every household needs a 3D printer.
I think they do. I mean, it is awesome. So yeah, I did a video. Somebody was talking about my video a minute ago. But yeah, I had to use mine this weekend to fix a light issue that somehow or another my builder screwed up on. It took 20 years for me to find out about it, but I got it straightened out and fixed, and the wife's happy, and I didn't have to call a contractor. I didn't have to rip the siding off the front of my house. And so, I mean, it was a win in my book. I used a little bit of 3D printing and some CAD design to prevent me from having to really go through some trouble, because this little piece of plastic on the house was not easily removed and replaced. So that worked out really, really good for me.
Yeah, those boxes are usually screwed in and then the siding overlaps them, and so they're not fun to replace. I actually have a similar thing from one of my vents. That's why I don't like to add extra holes to this shop when I'm not committed, because yeah, that those siding blocks are a pain.
Yeah, but I got it fixed, so that was good. Mark says purchased a longer Ray 5 machine, can't get connected to Lightburn. Can either of you help? I think I did a video on the longer Ray 5 connecting it to Lightburn. You got to make sure you got the CH3 something driver. There should be some files in a zip drive on the with the machine. So yeah, pretty sure in my video I go over how to get it up and going. So this is the video, and as far as trying to find the machine files, I think somebody emailed me the other day, and they were supposed to go back and look and see if they had the files or not. I never heard back. So
yeah, you want to make sure you got the CH340 drivers, and I'm going to put a link to sparkfun.com where they talk about installing them. If you don't trust the USB drives that come with the laser, or if you lost it, that's a good place to go grab them. And then if you're running a Windows machine, you want to go into your device manager and make sure that it recognizes as a COM port after you install that. If the machine recognizes it, then you should be able to get Lightburn to recognize it. Now, if you're trying to auto connect, when you go to your devices tab, you can select the COM port. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll bring up Lightburn here and try to show. Oh, I'm not on the latest version. Okay.
No, they keep dropping updates.
All right, let me see here. Share screen. All right, so yeah, we're gonna hide that for now. Over here, just above. Well, now the comments are in the way. Remind me to put those back. Okay, so you have your devices down here, and obviously your existing ones are here. When you go to auto detect a new laser, if it's on a COM port already, it's sometimes helpful to move it to choose or auto, whatever will come up for you before you detect it, because I've noticed sometimes it will only search on the one that's selected. So if you're having trouble getting it selected, deselect the COM port that's on there, and then go into your devices, and you can do the Find My Laser. It should find it then. If not, you may need to set it up manually. It's not too hard. For that one, you would want to go in there, select GRBL. You're going to do serial USB. You want to give it a name. So longer array 5, and I'll usually put the wattage on there. And then here's where you can select your machine units. Most things are going towards millimeters a second nowadays, but some people, depending on the laser, might still run in millimeters a minute. It's just what it doesn't really change the functionality of the machine. It's just at what granular level you're going at. So select that. And here's the important part with that one, I believe. Is that a 410? Isn't it slightly
It's either
bigger?
a straight 400 or 410. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I just dropped a link to all the stuff that comes on the thumb drive. I always back it up to a folder when I get a machine in. So I just dropped that on Google Drive. If you want to download that, that's all the files that came from the thumb drive.
So double check your machine, the working area. So in this case, I just put in 400 by 400. You can always come back and fix this. And then here you want to make sure that you know where it's going to home. Most of the diode lasers, and I believe all the longers, will go to your front left. Some of the others will go to the rear left, and a lot of CO2s like to go to rear right. So if you have this messed up, it's going to mess up your orientation, and things will look flipped when you actually engrave them. So double check that. And I like to turn this off, the auto home on startup.
Yeah, especially if you don't know where home is.
Yeah, if you have something stuck in there, you have something in the way, it can jam up your laser. So I usually turn that off. And then that's it. Hit finish. And now when you come over here to your devices, you can select. It'll tell you what it if it recognizes a COM port out there, it'll display it. And if it showed up in your device manager, you want to select that one, and then that should work from there. So if it's not auto detecting, I've had a few where you do just have to kind of go through that manual setup, unfortunately, and get it going. But it's not too hard as long as you have the kind of the basic information about the laser.
Yeah, that folder that I uploaded also has, and I'll show you this, but it has all the files that you'll need in case that you can't get it to work that way. Let's see. Top screen. So this is the way that it comes. So in folder 3 right here, you're going to basically have you don't really need these, but I just gave you the contents. And then it even has the firmware in the event that you need to flash it, as well as the manuals, which like your quick start and all that are going to be in there. If you use this Lightburn device file right here, you may not. Like you may just be able to import that and automatically have all your settings, but you can try that and see. But this is the longer 5 that I had. So I keep copies of all of the lasers that I bring in the shop. I keep copies of all the stuff that's on the thumb drives, and then stuff like custom. Sometimes I have custom files like for my particular setup and stuff like that. So it's handy for when you guys, need it or misplace it or whatever. Or me or Steve leaves it or misplaces it, because those thumb drives walk off.
Yeah, they can.
EMT's
or they come blank. I've had them come blank as well.
Yeah, EMT said, "Does anyone know if Bamboo has a replacement board for X1C?" Don't know.
Yeah, that might be a reach out to support, because a lot of these things, and even X Tools this way, you can get parts for your machines that they don't list in their normal accessories and parts section on their site. They'll just create like a one-off. Here, go order this, and it'll. But you have to reach out to them. So.
Spar says, have either you engraved on acrylic hat patches, and if so, which do you recommend? Yeah, lots of different ones. Get the material that you want to use and do some testing. That's the best. I mean, you can watch other people's videos and get jump off points and stuff like that, but nothing will substitute testing. Because you're, especially with the acrylic, because you're going to have like a lot of the tricolor stuff. Each setting is going to get you a different color, and it doesn't take a whole lot of difference to make the color not be as vibrant as it would be with a different setting. So test, and test some more, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't done any of the acrylic hat patches myself, but especially with the blue diode, depending on the colors you have, you're definitely going to need to do some testing to see that it'll even work. Because there are a few colors that it'll get through that top layer, but it just kind of makes a mess. Usually better engraving than cutting, because I've got some of that two-tone acrylic, but not necessarily in the hat patch stuff.
Yeah, the Lone Star stuff tends to work well with blue lasers. The stuff that I've used has been Lone Star, the orange, black, and silver, and red, white, and blue, and stuff like that. And it works with the blues, but you got to get the right settings, or you'll have a fire on your hands. James, if I didn't have a basically brand new bed in there, maybe, but seeing that there's basically a brand new bed in there already, it's going to stay the way that it is. It's technically like a multi-purpose flex room or whatever. So that way, if Steve comes over, he don't have to like sleep in the shop. Try to go through these comments.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Rob says, what was a dryer you suggested for the P3S film? You mean the P2S? If you've got a P2S with the AMS2 Pro, you really, I mean, unless you just want to dry it before you put it in there, you really don't need it, because it works as a dryer also. So I've got a dryer over there that I'm not even using. I need to get it out of here because I don't use it no more, because I just use the AMS2 Pros to dry the filament. So, because that's like 8 rolls of capacity. I mean,
otherwise the Creality has a 2-spool one on Amazon that's pretty decent. I still run that, especially if I'm swapping between a variety of colors. But there's also, what was it, Soval? Had a good deal on one.
Yeah,
I know a couple people said they use, and I think it was even cheaper than the Creality.
Yeah, the Creality is the one I've got over here, and I haven't gotten rid of it yet, but I haven't used it since I got the second AMS. Like when I had my A1, I use it a lot, but now that both of my machines have the enclosed AMSs, it's just like I don't have a big a need for it.
Yeah, it's listed under both Soval and Comgrow. Interestingly enough, I thought they were getting rid of the Comgrow name, but yeah, they've got a couple that they're around $60. I'll grab a link real quick. The nice one with that is it does have the ports that if you want to print from within the dryer, you can. So that's like if you're doing TPU, you want to dry it, you want to leave it in the dry box, and not let it get moisture while you're printing, because that's a real fickle filament that way. So So there's that one. Otherwise, there's the Creality one as well that both Clark and I have. I've got the Sunlu one on my P1S with the original AMS, which is nice. It's basically like the AMS 2 for the original AMS 1, but
Oh, and before I forget, I don't normally do this, but I'm gonna make an exception this time because it's a pretty good deal. And I know some of you guys have asked about it before. The Creality that I got now, the T1, the swap machine, Creality gave a code for the live audience. And like I said, I didn't ask for this. I don't know why they did it exactly. But if you go to Creality's website, if you were like gonna go get one and you just hadn't pulled the trigger on it and you thought about it, they did give me a 15% discount code for folks that watch Steve and I's live. So I'm gonna drop that discount code down here. And like I said, I'm not trying to twist anybody's arm. I know some of you have mentioned that you're interested or you're going to plan on getting it. And if you're going to, there is you a chance to save a little bit of money. So I don't normally do a lot of the salesy stuff, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you 100 reasons why you should buy it. But if you were going to and you want a coupon, there you go. I just thought about that. They had emailed me the other day and was like, hey, but yeah, I'm supposed to be getting more modules for it now that they're available. But right now I've only got the 20 watt IR. And I told her, I'm like, me and Steve say this all the time. And what we do, we don't have jewelry shops. We don't have, we're not doing 2A stuff. And what we do, the fibers just don't get used as much as the blues and the UVs because they don't do the organic materials. And we do a lot of organics. We do a lot of plastics. So that's the only thing that I would say with the 20 watt fiber is I have used it on some plastics, but I don't do a lot of knives or anything, just business cards, occasional marking on metal, but not that much.
yeah.
So, but when they said it was going to be a 15% discount, I was like, well, that's better than like $10 off. So I figured I'd share it with you guys.
Yeah, we don't mind passing on good deals, but we're not going to do a whole.
Yeah.
I'm not going to inundate you with a long ad on it. So
yeah, like some of them want to give us like a $5 off coupon to mention it in the live, and I'm like, okay, it's $5 isn't worth it, but 15% of what that machine costs. Okay, if one person benefits from it, it's worth it.
Chris, I think it's something about, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yep.
I'm not sure if this is part. Spark 33 says, I've cleaned the AP2 out completely. I just started getting an error. Keep coming up saying, check the hose from the S1 to the AP2 air handler. I took the top filter out and took it apart and cleaned. I'm not sure what the error is. I haven't seen that one come up on mine.
Check the hose.
Yeah, so there'd be the
exhaust
hose.
In the S1 giving issues, is it?
Yeah, it's one. That was one of my thoughts. Was maybe so it probably is. It's not seeing the airflow it wants to see. So maybe check the fan on your S1 and see if that might be getting clogged up and restricting the airflow, or if there's something else blocking it. Because I've had a few of the more advanced ones. If they don't see the right airflow, they are going to throw an error. So.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. Maybe the exhaust fan in the laser itself is struggling or got a blockage, or maybe it's not turning like it's supposed to. I would probably just try separating, taking the hose loose from the machine altogether, and seeing if that fixes the code, because it'll trick it into thinking it's flowing freely.
Yeah, just pop it off the laser, and if it still comes up with the code, it's something more on the inlet side. Maybe reseat all the filters and just double check everything. So,
no. Norbert's asking about, has anybody got a good line on nice leatherette wallets for engraving? I don't fool with a lot of those, so no.
Well, Chris's recommendation was go to our friend Eric over at Valley Forge. He's got a file for making your own. You will have to do a little bit of leather sewing.
I see. Yeah, Eric likes doing that sewing and stuff. I see. I've got the sewing stuff. I just me and my carpal tunnel don't get along with that.
Well, but it's more handmade and
it is that.
What are they, bespoke or whatever they are, like all those things they like to add onto it.
Oh yeah.
It's an upcharge.
Yeah.
Chris says you can't use your code because it's the 27th already.
Get you a VPN, Chris.
Brad's asking, have either of you been using the fume killer, and if so, what are y'all's thoughts so far? I've turned it on and hooked it up, and it does have a nice variable speed. As a matter of fact, if you block it, it seems like it tries to ramp it up to keep the airflow going. So my plan is I need to test both of the so I got the Acure Master that I need to do the tumblers on and the sling bed, and I want to do more testing with tumblers on the OMTech RF, and I think they even said they're sending me some more material, do some playing around. Apparently they'd like to see it in action some more. And as would I've just been bouncing around with things. So I do plan on running on those, as well as hooking it up to a couple of the enclosed diodes, like maybe the LX2 from Laser Pecker and maybe the S1 or C. I got to see how many adapters it's going to take, but I haven't run it yet. But just static running it does move a fair amount of air. Now the question is, will the filters, are they going to plug up fast or not and keep moving that air? So
yeah, I've played around with it, but I haven't heavily tested it yet because I've been busy painting and getting the office straightened out, doing stuff around the house, and it's just because I've got some stuff coming in that's going to get me busy, and so I'm trying to get all that done first. But my plan the other day, I was doing stove covers, and I started to take my enclosure loose from the wall and just dump it through it. And I'm like, I feel kind of wasteful doing that because, that it's just, I'm just clogging up filters. But I've got some space over here now where I got rid of the Eufy. It's in the house now. And so I can actually take the Laser Pecker and put on my roll around cart. And so what I had thought about doing was setting up some tests on the Laser Pecker, doing some more with it and just piping it into it, because it's, it doesn't have its own exhaust system. So that's probably what'll end up happening. But I've got, like I said, I got stuff in the queue right now that I got to get done.
Yeah. Jeffrey Stone's asking, have you had good luck laser engraving on PLA with X-Tool F1 Ultra? I've engraved on PLA with a few different 20-watt fibers. It doesn't take a lot of power. So yeah, do some tests on it. It tends to come fairly, like on blacks, it's fairly white. On whiter ones, it's almost like a gray look to it. So play around with your colors and see. That
this was done with the Creality.
Yeah.
Creality.
So you're getting dark black on red. Yeah, you want to play around with the different colors because they'll have different effects from different.
Yeah. Now I had
depending on your power.
Yeah, so I had to play with the settings because I got like some subsurface engraving going on right there. I don't know how I did that, but it's almost like one of those things where you can, like, privacy filters for your phone. You can't see it unless you get it at the right angle. But yeah, I played around with this. This is Pet G, but yeah, typically, like Steve said, you start low and work your way up. Because if you go too high, it's going to wind up in a puddle with the IR.
Arpezzi's asking, do you know of a source for blue diode laser safe foil beyond that sold by X Tool? I saw a design on Atom that used a pattern foil, but no one seems to know where you can buy it. Can't say that I've looked for it. So I don't know if anyone in the audience has, but
yeah, I'm not really. Don't mess with foil.
I played with some of the
Again, I think
burnishing foil.
Eric mess around with that stuff occasionally.
I don't know.
I think he does over at Valley Forged. I think I saw a video he did about foil. Him or what's her name over at Sawdust and Splinters. But yeah, that's not something I've used in a laser. It's got me curious. Yeah, laser foil. He has a video about it. Embossing powder, but I just saw one that said laser foil. There it is. I'll share I'll share Eric's video with you. This is the only one that I can say that I've saw about doing foil, because that's not something I do. But that's Eric over at Valley Forged. He does a lot of like kind of leather crafty type stuff mixed with lasers. And I know he did that one on I believe it was the Atom Stack Craft. So yeah, Rob said Eric will say Crafter's Closet. Yeah, he does get a lot of stuff from there. But that might be something you can ask him. He might give you a little more information, because that's not something I do. There you go, Steve. There's a good one. I did some research on this, and I don't know if I believe the research or not. So I'll let you answer it.
I don't know. I've never looked.
I was fixing to say the short searches that I've done, they say that PETG will work, but I don't know that I would make a container out of it. If you're trying to do like a funnel, I think that would work. But I have no experience with printing to that, so. But I was looking at printing. I was looking at printing some. But now, apparently, nylon, PP, and Peak and Utum are like, if you're serious about it. But it does say PETG is suitable, but like for a funnel or something that's not going to be like sitting in it, like basket in it. That's just compliments of Google. So might want to do some research, especially if you're planning on hauling it in it. I don't know that I would trust that. That could get sketchy. Let me show you something I got, Steve. This is one of those situations to where I blame Steve. Ooh. That's your fault right there. Should be here this week.
Does that have the pannier bags that fold down on the side?
Yes. Yeah, because I was like, in case I get in a pinch and like need to haul something big, you can unzip this, and it's got basically like little saddlebags that fall down. It also, and this was this kind of like bonus, also has a little end right here that you can, it's made to put a battery in and like strap the battery down. But the content creator in me was like, that would be awesome for a small tripod to go in, or a selfie stick. So I went ahead and got it because I was like, multi-purpose battery or selfie stick or tripod. So yeah, so I got this for it, so they can do some work. I'm gonna, hopefully by the end of the week, I will see if I can still ride a bicycle. I feel like I can. I used to be really good at it.
was my primary mode of transportation in my teens. So,
Well, I did a lot of it a while ago. That's right. That's a good looking individual right there, sir. So that was I don't know when that picture was taken, but that's been a while ago. Because as you can tell, my hair is still brown, like it's legit brown. It ain't brown no more. So yeah. So hopefully I will still be able to ride with the knee and the back and everything. So we'll see. Sparks, I had one of those bags on my e-bike. Yeah, Steve talked me into getting one. He rode his over to the fireworks show that we went to when we was in Minnesota, and he was bragging about how he didn't get caught in traffic, and he had like sidewalks and all this, and he was just being all cool and stuff. And so he talked me into getting one. So I don't have the trails and stuff that he has, but maybe nobody will run over me out here.
yeah. Kevin's asking if you've seen the 40 watt CO2 Galvo that can do tumblers in 13 to 48 seconds. EBP Man did a review on it.
No.
I've seen the, is that the Com Marker one? I haven't checked his channel in the past few days.
Yeah, I hadn't. I don't know how long ago it's been.
No, Hoatian.
Yeah, they had I saw that one on a website or Facebook or something, and I commented on it. I'd love to have one of those in my shop, but yeah, no. Yeah, Galvo CO2 would be the way for tumblers. I don't have one, so. So what else we got going on? Anybody else? I see Brian is dragging in late. Said that he had to install LVP for a brother-in-law. I'm not sure what LVP is.
Luxury vinyl plank, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay.
Flooring stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's not an abbreviation I would have known.
Yeah, LVP or LVT or they. Yeah, I've been into too many of our renovation meetings and such where they're talking with contractors about things at the school. So
yeah, somebody I saw earlier. I don't know. I can't find the comment now. Somebody was asking when we're going to have another meet and greet in Minnesota. It's going to be a while. All right, that was a lot of driving. That was a lot of driving. And I've got coming up in, well, matter of fact, in a month, like this time next month, August the 26th, which is going to be on a Wednesday. I think it's a Wednesday. I will be on my way to Texas to the Next Level Makers event. And as far as I know, everything's still good with you, right? You said you didn't know work was, question mark.
I'm hanging on by a thread there.
So me and Steve hopefully will be there. I'm going to be there Wednesday. I'm going to get there a little bit early and check in that afternoon, Wednesday afternoon. That way I'm, don't have to drive all day or all night to get there. So, but yeah. I know there's a few folks that's planning on being there as well. I saw Brad in here. I know he's planning on going. I think didn't JR, did JR say he was going to it? He's usually all over the place.
I don't know that I've heard him speak up about it, but there's a number of people that that were saying they're planning on it, or they have their tickets. If you are looking at going to it, I believe they said the hotel block expires August 1st, so you got a week to get signed up and get your hotel. Otherwise, you got to stay off site and deal with those logistics. So.
Yep, mine is. I've got my confirmation and I'm ready to go. So we'll be heading that way here by another month. Nice little. I think it's going to be a 10, 11-hour drive. So I'm hoping to get up early and knock that one out.
Is that being weird,
sir?
I don't know. It was like I wasn't able to scroll in the comments for a second there.
Yeah, I'm still kind of curious if Rich is going to be there. That's the one person I was thinking the other day. I haven't seen him at any of the events. I've seen a lot of the other guys and gals. I know Kim and Garrett's going to be there. So those are some familiar faces. So, and I know, let's see, who else was it? I don't remember if Sam said he was coming or not.
He said he looked at it, but I haven't heard him commit to it. I think Michael from Laser Engraving 911 is need.
Yeah, I think he's one of the instructors. Him and what's her name? That mom with a laser. I think pretty sure they're coming.
Sure. JR says he won't be able to make it to Texas.
Pile 3D. Yeah, it's as far as I know, it's a yearly thing. This is only the second year I've heard of it, so I didn't go last year.
Fifth year of it going on.
Well, there's JR.
Anybody else wants to feel better about themselves? Santa says, just to brighten everyone's day, I ran Cat 6 from the house to the shop, got great speed, started burying the cable, and 30 feet from the finish, cut the fiber line to the house. So no internet till the morning.
Golly. That's no good, sir. That's no good.
Some days you have days like that.
Yeah. Well, I got lucky this morning. Mine was all in the crawl space, so I just had to crawl through the spider webs, and there's lots of spider webs under there.
Spark 33 says, I go in my motorhome and don't have room to take my X2 S1, looking for a compact that I can take on the road to do hat patches and tumblers. You might want to look at the F1 series.
Mm-hmm.
If you've already got the rotary for the S1, it should work on there, and you can run the tumbler through that, and you could, depending on what material is, you could even cut the patches. But if you already have the patches cut out, that does great at engraving them as well. So
yeah, that's probably what I would do: pre-cut the patches before you go traveling. Maybe, I mean, you can cut them if it's hat patches, but yeah, if you pre-cut the patches, built a little jig, take that thing on the road, yeah. The F2 would be awesome because it's a little faster than the original F1. So, good little machine. So, somebody looking for some glue. They're recommending you, Steve. Oh, Cap said hot glue that fiber together. Yeah, it don't work like that. Fiber's finicky like that. It likes to be properly terminated.
Each stroke at 350 nanometers. Is asking, Steve, with your experience now with the RF tube on the Polar 2, do you feel it is worth the investment and the higher cost for the greater longevity of the tube? Yeah. As always, this is going to be it depends. If you're running your laser hard, you're running it a lot. Having an RF tube is going to be beneficial in a number of ways. It's going to be far more stable in its power. With the CO2, you have to have a good chiller, and even those can have fluctuations unless you've got, a real rock solid setup. And the RF tube, unless you are operating in just a really hot environment, it's going to handle that a lot better. You do get the longevity out of it as far as, you know, the lifetime of it. It's going to last you anywhere from 5 to 10 times as long as compared to a CO2 tube. That being said, if you're doing a lot of cutting, the RF is not bad. I've been testing it, and it can hold its own. But I think if you're doing, you know, some thicker materials, you're doing a lot of cutting, it is still going to be cheaper to work with a traditional water chilled CO2 laser. You can get a little higher power, especially if you're not worried about kerf. But if you're doing a lot of engraving and want that longevity, I think it's a nice balance. And I definitely feel like, yeah, it's maybe the way to go if, you know, but this is like the, if you are like running multiple 8-10 hour days every week, then yeah, it's probably worth the expense. If you just really want that, you know, reliability and the lack of the hassle of the water chilling, and you've got the money to spend, I think it's a decent investment. But it is an investment, and it's not necessarily needed by the casual hobbyist or the person who maybe gets busy on occasion, but generally is, you know, not, you know, if your laser's sitting idle in your workshop more than it's busy, then maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prices are coming down on them.
A noticeable increase in detail, but I mean, at the end of the day, like that's a pretty good little price tag just for extra detail.
Yeah, and the price is coming down. You're seeing more companies come out with them, so you know, definitely look at that. And some of them have better acceleration than the others, and that's where you're going to get a lot of that speed increase. So you know, if you're finding yourself doing a lot of engravings, but you're getting behind on it because you're waiting for your current machine to do it, having the faster acceleration, the faster response time of that RF tube is going to allow you to get things done faster. But if you're not ever finding yourself in a time crunch and you're okay with the speed that you're working at, you know, I would say maybe just double up on the equipment you have right now, so you've got backup that you don't go down. Plus, you're doubling your capabilities. So yeah. I mean, there are reasons to look at it from a longevity and an efficiency standpoint, but just because it's a technology that's cool and faster and out there doesn't mean you got to shift gears and go towards it unless you feel it's going to solve a problem for you.
Yeah. Yeah, people ask me all the time, you know, when are you going to get this? When are you going to get that? And I'm like, when it makes sense for me to get it. That's, you know, and these companies, you know, if they send it to me, then yes, I'll take it. But as far as like me running out and spending a bunch of money on something, I got to be able to show, you know, where it's going to benefit me, because it does get pricey.
Lance Rainey says, "Think I'm headed to Iowa on Wednesday." I'm sorry. But he's going there for 5-day setup, 4 days of a really large market. Going to car camp and see how that new experience goes. Hopefully, I think the temperatures are supposed to, like, they're hot through tomorrow for sure, but I think they're coming down. So I think if the humidity is okay, you'll hopefully be all right. You are in corn country, and the corn is quite tall. It does like to hold that moisture, so it's probably still going to be a bit humid. So I would plan on a fan and a really good power source for it. But yeah, I know people who have car camped at various events, and depending on the environment, the atmosphere, it's kind of nice. And the logistics are easy, but hey, try it out. And if it works for you, great. It's all part of the learning experience.
Steve Massey says, if price and space wasn't a factor, which laser would you choose? And again, it depends on what you do. But me personally, as long as it's got a work area of 36 wide and 36 wide and about 20 deep to where I can continue to do my stove covers, I don't really care. I mean, that's the thing. You got to do what you got to make money with. But I wouldn't mind having a CO2 that has a RF tube just for the speed and for certain things. But at the same time, I'm afraid that if I get a RF, the efficiency of the burn is going to be so much that, like on these pine boards, I may not get the brown engraved that I want. So that's kind of I really wish I could get a machine the size of like a small cabinet CO2 with a 36 by 20 work area that had a CO2 and blue laser capability built into it. That would be like really awesome if such a thing existed. That way you could have, use the CO2 or the blue laser. That would be kind of cool. But people, they keep combining things like 3D printers and lasers instead of putting blue lasers and CO2s in the same box. So,
yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, I think they're banking on enough tricks to be able to get a darker burn through, defocusing and other things that they probably would rather combine it with like the IR or things like that. But I would kind of agree with you. I mean, if I had the space and the money to buy whatever I want, I think what I would probably settle on is similar to you, is a good size CO2 that had, like you say, 36-inch wide, maybe up to 24-inch deep, working area, about 90 watts of power, I think would be kind of the spot I would be looking for. It's always a balance between beam power for cutting and speed, as well as detail. And I think for the things I do, that would be fine, because I tend to stay away from like the hyper photorealistic engraves. Most of them will be more of like vector type engraving, things that you don't need that fine point of detail for. And I feel like that type of machine would suit a lot of my needs. I mean, it's kind of where I geared originally when I was getting a laser, is I got as big of a CO2 as I could at the time, both space wise and finance wise. So I would probably lean that way again, because that's a lot of what I do, is a mixture of cutting and engraving. Like you say, I don't do as much of the metal marking and fine detail stuff. So the galvos are nice and fun, and the fibers are nice and fun, but they don't see as much time in my shop as something that can cut and engrave organic stuff.
Yeah, that's, like I said, I've used that 40-watt blue G-Week more than I have any of the galvos here lately. Now, the UV, I still love UV. UV is probably one of the most versatile. It's not fast, but one of the most versatile machines you can have. And I'm looking forward to getting the UV module for the Creality. If I can get the UV module, the 40-watt blue module, and then I've already got a 20-watt fiber module for this machine, I mean, you could technically clear this counter right here off and just have empty space, because the module swaps on it's not too bad from what I can tell. I haven't got but one module, so I can't speak on that completely yet. So I'm kind of curious to see. I know there's a little bit of a calibration you have to do if you go, like if you change the lens, but if you go from blue, if you're using blue or fiber, it uses the same lens. The only time you have to swap the lens is when you go from the UV on the machine. So as long as you're using the blue or the fiber, it uses the same lens on the outside of the galvo. So kind of curious to see. I'm looking forward to it. Dustin is getting me tonight, boy.
Tim Arthur says, is engraving a very expensive fly fishing wheel this week. Never done one, but it's stainless steel, so it should be fine. Should
be. It's like it took me a long time to teach Klein this. Risk versus reward. What kind of reward are you getting for the risk that you're taking? And if it don't make sense financially, don't do it. because if it goes bad, I'm telling you, that sinking feeling you get in your gut when it goes bad is terrible. So I just, and Tim says waiver. Yeah, I mean, you can do a waiver, but that ain't gonna stop people from saying, don't take your stuff to that guy because he's gonna tear it all to pieces. He's gonna just destroy it. So a waiver keeps you from necessarily having to buy that, but one bad incident with a customer could cost you 50 customers. So that's, I will rather tell people, hey, look, I can't do that one. I had somebody the other day want me to do an urn of somebody, and they're not in the urn yet, but it was like an expensive urn, and I'm like, I will make you something to sit this urn on, a nice plaque with a recess from the CNC. We can make it look fancy, but I ain't touching the urn. So, because I can make a wood something or another, and if I screw that up, we can throw it away and just lose money on it. But I am not touching the urn that was, used to do whatever. It's just, I just risk versus reward. Sometimes the reward is not worth the risk. So,
I mean, if they're cremated right, you can't hurt them anymore if you do punch through. So,
well, yeah, but but you don't want to be the one going, y'all gonna need a new urn. So, like I said, I made the stands, and I'm okay with making the stands. A nice little piece of oak or some black walnut or maple, piece of cherry. I can make a nice little urn stand with engraving on it. But I don't like messing with stuff, especially if it's expensive.
I've only engraved one urn, and it was one I made. So,
and yeah, like I said, but that I'm okay with if it's yours or if it's one that you made. But yeah, I have people ask me to engrave stuff all the time, and I'm like, no.
Tim Arthur's asking, anyone have any experience with the cutting tool on the H series Bamboo Lab printers? Unfortunately, I do not.
I've seen an H series, but I've never had one. And I think the first time I saw one in like real life was when I came to Minnesota over at the 3D printing shop over there. They had one. Because it was huge. Like you could have put my freaking P2S inside it. Like it's massive.
Well, that's one of the nice things about like Micro Center is they tend to have one of each of the printers they sell on display, and so up there I was able to kind of take a peek at it too. But no, I haven't messed around with them at all.
Yeah, I just don't really. I mean, every now and then maybe I need one to print a job, but most of the stuff that I print is like well within the capabilities of a P2S or X2D. So if I were printing bigger, I mean, there's something that I have to end up slicing in half that it's like, man, I wish I had a bigger one, but those are rare.
Of course, I don't have the right photo.
Do what?
I was trying to find a photo of that urn, but I don't have the right photo of it.
No. Yeah.
And Caps Lock says it did the same thing, made a wooden box to carry the urn. And that's a really good, rather than say no to a customer, offer an alternative that maybe they hadn't thought about, that's less risk for you. Maybe it actually ends up being better for them overall. Because a lot of people are just like, hey, just stick this thing on there. Like use some of your creative judgment on that and say, hey, have you thought of maybe doing this instead? So
yeah. Especially if you have a CNC, you can make some really nice stuff.
Stephen Tucker's asking, do you have any recommendations for 3D design software? Would like to draw out the design in my head before cutting it out. We both have showed a little bit. I started using SketchUp back when Google developed it years ago, And so I've used that a lot. I've also done some videos on Tinkercad. Depending on the complexity of what you're looking at, Tinkercad might work for you, and it's free, web-based. Otherwise, my recommendation, what Clactus showed a lot, if you're really wanting to dive in and do a lot with 3D tools, Fusion's a great way to go. It's kind of meant for makers to export to 3D printers, to CNC routers. You can do the flat files out to lasers as well. It's kind of built around that. But depending on what you do with it, there is also a cost to that as well. So,
and then it's a learning curve. Because like I probably don't use 10% of the functions, like just in like 3D, like just in CAD design, like for 3D parts. I probably use maybe 10%. I'm always finding like little shortcuts that I didn't know about. So.
Mm-hmm.
Piled 3D said he recommends Piled 3D CAD. I would imagine so. I haven't used it. I wouldn't know.
Now, this is tangential to that, but I know people have asked before. But I have installed the latest release candidate of MillMage on my Office PC. So
I haven't. I don't have a license for it. I know they sent me the thing the other day for the affiliate program, but
so yeah, Jack's been doing some videos on it. They finally in the latest build release, they have added in more of like the 3D carving and such. And so I'm like, okay, I really need to I need to try it out. So it's on my list of things to do. I got to get through some of this other stuff first, but yeah, I definitely want to try it out because I know there's a lot of people coming from the laser world wanting to get in, dabble with CNC routers, and it can be like learning a new language. So MillMage is kind of catered towards those people because you can actually import a lot of your designs from Lightburn into MillMage, and a lot of the menus and the layout, it's all very similar. So from that aspect, it aims to make it a little bit easier. But I still need to kind of get it's been a while since I've looked at it, and I need to get kind of reoriented to, or initially oriented to it, I should say. So
yeah, I hadn't, like I said, I haven't looked at it. I've got so much going on. I got so many sticks in the fire right now. It ain't even funny. So I just, my thing is slowing down long enough to learn a new software, because it's like, it takes a while.
Yeah.
JR is asking, anyone else pre-order the Sunloo filament heater AMS for the Bamboo A1? I did. Won't arrive until September, though have always hated my AMS light just out in the open. So there you go. I haven't.
I didn't. It is nice that they're making it, but yeah, I between my other printers and the separate dryer I haven't been frustrated. There's every once in a while I'll throw something on there and I'll forget about it for a little too long, and then I'll realize, yeah, I should probably dry that. And usually it's after the first few layers didn't stick on that color. But no, it's a nice option. Basically right now the pre-order I think is $99, and it gives you a fully enclosed structure for it. I haven't looked closely enough, and maybe you have, JR, but are you still able to mount it on top of the printer? Because the ones I've seen, the unit was set to the side, and that would definitely disrupt my flow for space where I got my printers. But
yeah, you'd have to put in a shelf or something.
I've been happy with my other Sunloo, the AMS one for the original AMS that I have on my P1S. I've been really happy with that dryer. Works very well as an add-on. So, and I've purchased a few other things from them. So I feel like they tend to do their R&D well. So, all right. So yeah, he says he doesn't top mount it, so he didn't check either. But
Yeah.
I think you're going to enjoy it, like you say. Having it just out in the open there, especially with colors, maybe you print a lot. You don't necessarily want to have to take it on and off. And that's one thing on that one with the rolls, the way they kind of slide onto those little friction pegs. It's not as easy as just dropping it in and out of the other one. So it'd be nice to be able to leave it on there and let it roll.
Yep.
Southern Laser Crafts is asking, they're saying late to show, how's the camping trip, Steve? It was good. And if you want to find out more about the camping trip I did drop a video on my second channel, Vintari Outdoors, and put a little bit about the gear I was using and the setup and just some of the ways I camp, and then a little bit about the park. I didn't get to show all of it just from a time crunch standpoint, but I enjoyed it. The bugs weren't bad. There was a slight breeze. The temperatures were nice. The campground wasn't very full because it was during the week. So it was kind of a lot of pluses. I just wish I wouldn't have been quite so rushed that day to get out there. And then needing to pack up in the morning and get out. So, but yeah, it was cool. The bison were right on the roadway. I mean, they came up right to my window on that drive there. I had a couple of, I would guess they're about 6-month-old kittens. They were definitely not tame. They were kind of lurking around the skirts of my campsite looking for food. There were some coyotes making some calls after sundown. Hopefully I'll get out and do more of that yet this year. It's just been a weird schedule and weather wise. So
Yeah.
if you want to follow me more on outdoor stuff, and I also showed a little bit of the e-bike and such there. Yeah, I'll hopefully if you want to follow more along with some of that fun stuff, I'll definitely check that out and love your support on that channel as well.
Yeah. I know you were talking about when you was making your coffee in your camping video that you didn't bring anything to measure. Did you see that in your little cup there was increments inside the
Yeah. You don't pay attention to the replies to your comments, huh?
I've been crawling under houses all day since I did that.
I mean, I replied to it right away. So no, it's those marks were in like half liters. So
oh yeah. I wouldn't have known what to do with that either.
Well, I mean, measuring out 1 1/3 cup or whatever it was from half a liter, I'm like, yeah, okay. I just eyeballed it.
I was fixing to say it's either going to be worst case scenario, it ends up soup.
Well, I mean, you just let it kind
of steam off.
Yeah. So, but I hadn't used that tent in 20 years or so, and I swear it shrunk in storage.
I'm sure that's exactly what happened.
I'm sticking to that story.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, not bored said not something you can do in Alabama in July. No. You go outside right now. Them bugs is out there, boy. See what it is? It's 80. It is 83 degrees outside right now.
I mean, it's not necessarily a given up here in July. It's 88 up here, so enjoy your cool weather. But no, I mean, Clack saw all the corn. I mean, that stuff grows up. It holds moisture in, and so if you get a wet summer with all those cornfields growing, mid to late July can be really horrible. Especially if it's a wet year. And then if it's wet, then the bugs are out. So it's not a common occurrence, but like I say, it was a just a weird couple of days where we had a little bit of a cool front come through. The smoke wasn't rolling down from Canada and northern Minnesota. I saw the opportunity and rolled with it. So
Yeah, it seemed pretty nice. I wish I could do that. But I got too much going on right now anyway.
Not Bored says they were in your neck of the woods yesterday getting peaches and saw one of your old displays at Durbin Farms.
What am I? Mine? Huh. Now there's some stuff that I made there. I don't know that I got a display done. I might need to look into that.
Well, as you left, and it's just empty, and people are like, who's this
Now
guy?
I do
that
have
never
one of
restarts?
those that some of my people were supposed to be managing that they've quit managing. I'm sure it's, but I don't remember. It may be something I did, something I made at Durbin's. I don't remember. I'm trying to go through these comments. We got a few.
Carrie's asking, did my sleeping bag shrink too? So
yeah, in his pants and his belt.
I get my height from my grandpa on my mom's side, and he gave me a sleeping bag. I still have it. It's a really nice down-filled, like cold weather sleeping bag. But what I really like about it was he was tall too, and so that one fits really well. But I did find one a year or two ago that is like extra long, and it was nice because I can actually have the sleeping bag on me and it feels like it fits normal, and I don't feel like it's like a potato sack race bag or something that I'm half in, half out. But yeah, it's being tall is not always fun when you're trying to fit into certain typical things like that.
Yeah, I have that problem a lot too.
I bet you don't.
Rob said, what software creates the best 3D models that can be imported in the X-Tool Studio for engraving inside canine crystal? Well, best is a relative term. I mean, basically, as long as it's a good closed STL or OBJ file, I've had good luck with them. I mean, it's just, you don't want one's got a bunch of holes in it, of course, or like overlapping layers or anything. Those are the big things that you don't want, because if it's got like you just want the shell, you don't want like layers inside there, because you can get the crystal too hot and cause it to go pop. So I've just used regular like models off of Tinkercad before, and they work right. Now I would always look at them like in Meshy or something like that, and just look at them and make sure that they're, that they don't have holes in them. Like you take them, put them in Mesh Mixer and just simplify them or whatever. But yeah, I don't know that I've ever found a bad software to use. I don't guess. Like I said, as long as it's a good, solid, closed file. So we'll see. What's your thoughts, Steve?
I mean, the best one is the one that makes sense to you and that you'll actually use. From there, like you say, some of them won't create the best solid STLs, but that's a thing where like you could run it through Tinkercad or another one, like import it and export it, and it fixes a lot of the errors. Or even running it into a slicer, like dropping it into Orca or Bamboo or Prusa Slicer. Usually it'll say, hey, I found these errors, and you can fix it that way. The best one is the one that makes sense to you, that you can design with. So yeah.
So whatever works. Not Bored. I think he's like 5'11", 5'10".
I'm 6'5".
Oh me. Do.
Mark 2 cents says 28% humidity, humid for us. Yeah, I hear you. My
28%.
yeah, no, Arizona
Man,
is very arid.
I'd have to put lotion on if I get into 28%. I'd turn into a lizard.
My dad's up in the southern plateau of the Rockies in kind of north of Phoenix and such, and some of their trees there have lower humidity than like your
Home
furniture.
Depot.
Yeah, well, Home Depot you can get wood that's still dripping wet. No, some of their trees, their live standing trees have moisture content that's lower than like furniture grade stuff. So Arizona is, if you ever move to or from Arizona, just forget about taking anything wood related, because if you bring it in, it's going to warp like crazy from drying out, and if you bring it out, it's going to absorb moisture and warp like crazy.
It's going to twist. Yeah. Well, I know when we go to Vegas, you know, I'll get like, my face will get like almost like sun chapped or wind chapped or whatever. Like it dries me out. Like I'm wiping down and like, cause I have to use this stuff on my hands anyway, cause my hands will split and like I'll have cracks in my fingers and stuff, and skin just falling off of them. So I have to hydrate already. But when I go to like Vegas, I have to slather in oil and stuff because it's bad. Like it's 38% humidity in here with the mini split running. So
I'm at 60% humidity, but I haven't been out here most of the weekend. I've been letting it take it easy out here. So, but it was 83 degrees and 65% humidity when I turned it on about 3 hours ago, and now it's down to 73 and 61. So it's doing all right.
It's 83% humidity outside right now. So yeah, when it gets down to 77 tonight, we're gonna have dew. The grass will be wet at 77.
Oh yeah, we were in the 90-some% this morning, and some of my windows were sweating.
Yeah.
So. Oh.
My board said in Colorado was so dry, I drank 1.5 gallons of water a day and had chapped lips for a week. Yeah, I feel you. And then, of course, Southern Laser saying 28% wouldn't need an AMS for a bamboo there. No, you probably don't even really need any drying filaments out in the desert like that. Because I'm guessing it would be even drier inside the houses if they're running air conditioning. Should
could be. It depends though. A lot of Arizona likes to use swamp coolers, so
yeah, that could raise the humidity.
But yeah, up here when you run the heaters, it dries air out too, so it'll get down into 30s, 20s, 30s inside. We actually run some humidifiers in the winter, so.
Yeah. Well, we caught up on the comments. Y'all slacking.
Yeah.
I am out of tea. I brought 2 glasses.
Wow.
I've been rehydrating. I don't know how many steps I did, but I bet I walked from the house to the shop 100 times today. Let me see how many steps I got. Brandy was giving me a hard time yesterday because she got more steps than I did. Let's see what I got. I didn't do too great today. 6,700, but not great, but it ain't bad.
Well,
I don't see no more comments. We've been just getting awful quiet. Hour and a half in.
They're gonna make me wheel a laser over here and start hooking up a rotary or something.
Oh, I saw a comment pop up. Watch your video fixing your porch lights. Do you wear orange shirts 7 days a week or only on feminine days? Typically, like every day. Basically, yeah. I just wear these, like, because I'm always here. I'm always doing stuff. Sometimes I wear other stuff. It's rare, but yeah, because I pretty much work every day, like on something, and whether I'm doing B-roll or making a video or whatever, yeah, I'm pretty much always working. That's the whole hyperactivity disorder thing for you. I can't sit still. Like, I don't watch TV. I don't watch sports. I don't watch golf, football, basketball, baseball. None of the things. The only time I sit still is when I'm going to sleep. So that's why a lot of times if I'm sitting in this chair too long, I'll start, like, my body's like, okay, we're not moving. We're going to sleep. So, yeah. I'm like a shark. I have to stay running. Oh, Rob, Clark, you need a swimming pool. No, I do not. That's like, might as well go ahead and take a couple $1,000s a month and just throw in a mud hole somewhere. I have had small pools before. Don't need a pool. I'll keep my money. If I decide I want to go to a pool, we have some public ones, and I have a family that have them. I have friends that have them. I don't want one of those. That's just something else for me to have to clean every day. My back really doesn't give me a problem. I don't do nothing stupid with it. I did pick some stuff up today I probably shouldn't have, but I'm really careful how I pick things up if it's heavier than I should be picking up.
Not Bored Woodworking's asking, I've got a question. My S140 watt says it's supposed to do 12.5 inches tall and doesn't get that, but 11.5. I think the difference that you're seeing there is it can only mark 11.5 inches top to bottom, but there is an extra inch in there that it can process, I think, towards the back. But if you try to mark the area within the software, it errors out in that inch range. So there's some weird wiggle room there between their marking area and the actual working area of the laser. So you might want to experiment with that. Just draw a 12 to 12.5 inch item that peaks up into that area, and if it can't process there, it's definitely going to error out on you. But you'll find, I want to say it's in the back, but it may be in the front, that I think it's in the back, because you can bring that crosshair all the way up to that front lip, even over the honeycomb if that's what you're using. So I think it's an inch towards the back that isn't able to be marked, but you can still use for processing with the laser.
Yeah, I remember that. Like I said, it's been a while. I haven't used mine in a little bit.
I don't often, and that's the thing, is that when people ask what size machine to get, usually it's as big as you can. But if you absolutely have to have a certain size working area, you probably want to look at a laser that has a little bit buffer area, or a CNC router that has buffer area, because, for example, for a CNC, you've got to hold down the material. You've got to have a little more area for those clamps. And if you're doing an engraving on a laser, it generally needs to move past the object or the engraving to do its deceleration and turnaround. So if you're maxing it out, you're going to struggle getting that engraving to work, if at all. But yeah, on that one, if you're needing to push it to the limits, I think you can get that inch out of the top. You just can't mark it.
Greg Wilson says, what projects are you both planning this week? Well, I have been doing projects all weekend too. between the fixing the lights and all the other things. And like I said, me and Brandy have been doing painting, which she did the majority of she did the difficult painting. I did the roller painting because it's just, I'm not good with painting. Y'all know I don't like painting projects either. But I've got some stove covers that I got to get out. I got at least 5 on the board. I may even have a couple more that I haven't written down yet. I had to check my text messages. So I'm going to try to get those knocked out this week and get those cleared off my board because I do have 2 e-bikes coming this week. One that I purchased and the other one is being sent to me because I was looking at purchasing from 3 different companies. I did it kind of like I did with the CNC. When I bought my Shapoco, I sent emails to 3 different companies. Hey, do you have an affiliate program for, XYZ products? And so I did the same thing with the e-bike. I sent JSON, APAS, and Electric, all 3 basically the same. Do you have an affiliate program type thing? And wound up ordering the Electric because I kind of gave a little priority to a U.S. company because they're U.S. based out of, is it Arizona?
Yep.
Yeah. And so I went ahead and went with them. That and Steve had one. And I was like, if I get anything other than Electric, Steve's going to be like, I told you so. So I went ahead and got it because I wanted a fold up bike that I could take to events and take it when we go out of town. So that's what I got. But then one of the companies, or actually both of the companies, Apis and JSON, both replied back, yes, we have an affiliate program. And we'd love to send you a bike. So I've got a JSON, I guess it's how you technically say it. But it's a full size. Like it don't fold up. Like it looks like a motorcycle almost. But it's off-road. It's got the big fat tires on it. 2,000 watt capability, I think. Max peak wattage on the motor. So it's a big boy. It's coming, and my Electric is also supposed to be here this week if FedEx is telling me the truth. So I'm gonna be playing around with those. So there'll be some content on the other channel because I'm gonna use them like when we go to events and stuff. But the content as far as like talking about them and showing them and stuff like that, most of that's going to be on the other channel, kind of like with Steve and his outdoor channel. That kind of stuff doesn't, I mean, it doesn't really fit in the shop. I guess I could strap a Galvo laser to the back of it and call it a portable laser setup. Maybe that would make it work, but I think that's a little gimmicky. So we'll see. But yeah.
Burn Carve Prince asking, when doing a V carve for a house number, is there a recommended depth using a 60-degree V bit? The ideal is to let it go as deep as it needs to fill out your text, because if anything shallower than that, you're going to need to use clearing passes. And if you do it with the V bit, it's not going to look very smooth. And it's going to take a long time. Or you're going to have at least a bit change, and generally still you're going to have some detail work where the V-bits just don't make the smoothest, flat area. So if you can, you try to let it go as deep as it can. And that's why if you can use a wider degree for less detail, it's not going to have to go as deep. That being said, I've done a number of them where I try to go about a 1/4 inch deep. And if I have to, I'll swap out and use like sometimes a ball nose bit will give you enough flat without being quite as bad, or otherwise like an 1/8 inch for more just blocky, less detailed letters. But I try to let it just go as deep as it needs to do to fill out the letter. That way you don't have a flat depth area that needs to be smoothed out.
Yeah, like I said, it depends on the font with me, because like some fonts, they're going to have like, especially if it's like a script, there are areas that it like literally you may not even be able to see the line. So there are times that I will actually set a flat depth for those, but it can make it take longer if you start doing that. So font goes a long way when it comes to that. The what is it? The Engravers, MT fonts and stuff like that tend to do a easy job with it.
Rob's asking, Steve, I love your hat. What make and patch color? This is a tan. This is a tan leatherette. And let me find the hats. They're a generic Richardson style, but they're not. They're actually this Yupung company, and I personally find that they fit better than most of the Richardsons I've tried. So I think I can get you a link on Amazon if you want to try them out.
That's that brand that you were telling me about the other day that you got. Ain't that the ones? Is that the same ones that you were talking about when I was up there that you had made?
Well, the ones that I gave away at the meetup were different.
Oh, okay.
But let's see here. I'm trying to make sure this is nope, that not what I want to click on. Good Lord. Here we go. I gotta make sure I got the right color. All right, so this is the hat. And it's just tan leatherette that I think this is some original stuff I just got off of I think an Etsy seller or something. It's not Lone Star, but it's just a tan color patch. And
Like
it goes well with the green.
Tan over black or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, the hats are only like $9.25 on Amazon. And they provide a few different colors, but like I say, I find this one fits a little bit better than some of the Richardson ones that I've tried out. So
yeah. Now you do have a supersized cranium.
Well, I mean, that is true.
Don, I appreciate I don't know what the 400 joules is, but I think that means I don't know what that is, but appreciate it. Oh, I think that's through Facebook or no? It says YouTube.
No, that's a thing on. I think it's like micro gift things that.
Oh, okay.
So they're copying Twitch and their bits.
That's the first time I saw that, so I didn't know.
Yep.
Jake says he got him a rotary for the laser he won at the meet and greet.
Yeah, says it works well.
Yep. The Acemer M4 new in the box for $40. He got a pretty good deal because he's got $40 in the whole setup at this point. So that's a good deal. Good deal. Yeah, not more. So it looks like I had to use my old D1 Pro to get over 11.5 inch circles. Yeah, and that's the thing with some of these machines is that's why I say I would like to have one that's at least 20 inches deep and 36 wide, because I feel like I don't do much, that's going to be over 20 inches. If I do, it's going to be more than likely just a cut, and they do it with CNC. But yeah, but it's frustrating when you need just a little extra and you ain't got it. Well, Brian, he smartened up. He ordered his air conditioner he got off of Amazon, so he's got an affiliate commission for it now.
Well, yeah, and some of these tangential things, free is not always free.
Mm-mm.
The lasers make sense because we use them in our shop. It's they're easy to fit into the content, but yeah, some of these other things, I mean, and the list of things that come into our emails that people are wanting shown on these channels is ridiculous.
The toilet seat or something the other day.
and some of and even with some of the laser companies, the things they ask for, it ends up really not being worth the time that you need to put into some of them. So yeah, no, and actually a friend of mine's actually been installing a mini split this weekend, and he'd gladly help me, but it's more than just acquiring it. I have some other logistics that I have to work out here to make it work. And so, yeah, it's just, it hasn't been in the cards just because of the time it will take to get everything set up to be able to install it hasn't been found.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it is a nice way. And that's one of the ways that both David and I try to keep things a little more ethical. I was just talking with a company the other day and they were asking about my rates. And I said, my rates are, I don't accept payment I don't do paid content.
Yeah.
Just for and it could be, I just say that across the board because sometimes they're like, hey, we're not asking for a review. We would just like to pay you to create more videos with our stuff. And I'm like, here's the problem is if I ever accept money, then it affects a lot of people will say just accepting the laser or the equipment or the whatever is affecting your judgment. And sure, that could be, but I figure when there's actual payment, now you are being contracted by them to do something for them. And that's a little bit different. So yeah, I try to just use the affiliates because if you watch my content at the end of it, you go, you know what, that's great, I want one, then I get a little kickback for it. And that, it's marginally different than being directly paid.
Yeah, well, me and you both have been down this road for a while, and reviews, the first 4 or 5, it's like you're on cloud 9. You're like, oh man, this is awesome. But you learn really quick that it's not always a cakewalk. Like sometimes they send you things and it's like if you figured up the hours that it takes you to get a video out with it and you did your hourly rate at Starbucks, you could have bought the machine. You know what I mean? So it's not always just a win. Now, sometimes it is. Sometimes you get some really nice stuff. It's not problematic. It's a pleasant experience. You have fun using it. Those are the ones that I like. I love it when that happens, but that's not all of them. And especially when you first start out, you're gonna have to take some scraps in the beginning. Because me and Steve both, I can remember, what was it? The cloth laser enclosures, the just exhaust fans. We started out with very, very simple things, and then now, it's gotten a little crazy at times. But like Steve said, we probably turned down. I know my email I usually get during the week, not on the weekends, but during the week, like starting tonight, I'll probably get 5 or 6 emails tonight, solicitations, want me to do a video for something, whether it's random, what is it, Affiliately or that one that sends like 5 a day, Affiliately or whatever. There's several different promoter companies, but it ain't always fun.
Yeah, and so in like Clark was saying, is by the time you do all that work and you deal with the company, I could have just bought the thing and installed it and not gone through the hassle. Because some of these videos on the flip side, you spend all that time doing this stuff and your AdSense revenue is in the tens of dollars, for a 40, could be, you could have spent 40 hours on that thing. So
yeah.
And then we turn around and often just give them away.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so far I've only sold like a couple of machines, and it was like I sold them like dirt cheap. I keep up with the machines that come through here and the ones that I give away and who I give them to and all that. And yes, other people are benefiting plenty from it, because that's the way I look at it. Is I am blessed that the good Lord has put me in the position to do what I'm doing, and if I don't share with other people, if I don't like try to help bring other people up and help other people do better with what I'm being given, in my opinion, it could just as easily be taken away. So, and I'm just not a greedy person. Like I'm just not. I try to help everybody.
Yeah. So Seth's asking, Steve, saw your CA glue video yesterday. What is the best adhesive for neodymium magnets to wood? Depends on the application. If you're, like installing them on the backside of a piece of wood to be like a magnet and it's not recessed in, and you got some time, I'd obviously, I would honestly use something that's a little more flexible. So, like a rubber cement kind of thing. It will last longer. Good glues that work fast. I mean, you can glue them on there with CA, but they run the risk of popping off. Epoxy's a little bit better, but they're still, it's a chemical process that, it heats up and it turns into like a crystalline structure. It needs to grab to something. So if you need to glue them to something, it's best to, on the backside that's going to be connected to your wood or facing the wood, take a little scratch paper or even a razor blade and just rough up that side so it has like just something to grab onto. So a lot of times I will use epoxy for the magnets if it needs to be more pocketed or I need something done faster. It tends to work a little bit longer, but wear and tear or any movement is going to run the risk of those crystalline bonds of breaking, and then it's going to eventually let go. So anything that's a little more flexible and it isn't like hardened glue when it's solid or when it's cured is going to be better on those for wear and tear if it's moved around a lot. But a lot of times I'll just resort to epoxy and, like I say, just scuff it up a bit, and that tends to work pretty well.
These is what I've been using lately, and they come with these little 3M foam discs. The only thing is when you're designing, you have to allow for the foam, a little bit of room. So like I've been using those to make my little magnetic holders for things. And so I just allow in that pocket that the magnet sets in, I just allow extra distance for that little adhesive pad to sit in there. And it works pretty well. So it's not a glue, but it does hold them still. And if you really plan on pulling on them really hard, you can, the actual way these are supposed to put together, the screws, the plastic, there's a little, I think I did like a 0.5 millimeter thick piece of plastic between the magnet and the surface anyway.
Laser Lab LLC says, I've always been a Richardson 1112 guy. Recently started getting the Yupung. Now that I'm doing more hats, Richardson has been hit or miss, plus they're plus or minus $3. Yeah, these are cheaper and I like the fit better. So I've used them quite a bit with some of the people that ask me. I mean, some of them really like the Richardson and a certain style, so we'll still do them. But yeah, it's been kind of hit or miss being able to get them because so many people are doing hats. Mark Patterson's asking, how do the leatherette patches attach? Most of these that I buy, that I do them, they'll have the adhesive layer on the back, and then I have a hat press that I adhere them with. I think I put out a short video of putting together the here, let me grab this link. I'd cut the patches with the Omtech, but then I used the hat press. Now this is just a super cheap Vevor hat press. I got it when they had a sale on it for like $70, and I'm like, at that price, it can be a little fickle. If you're doing a lot of these, definitely invest in a better hat press. But yeah, you having the press with the heat and platen, it just helps activate that adhesive a little bit better. So.
Quilter 1962 says, I have an AP 1812 laser and need a rotary that will let me do tumblers with handles. Any suggestions? If you've got the AP, Roto Boss or Pyburn would probably be your best bet. You can tell them what your manufacturer of your laser is, and they can make sure that it's compatible. The Roto Boss one I really like, the chuck that they have. And if I ever get a different CO2 laser, that's probably what I'll end up getting. But I just, like I said, I haven't made myself go get one yet, because like Steve was saying earlier, I'm not doing so much work with my CO2 that I'm sitting here waiting on it to get done or having to turn down jobs constantly. So I haven't quite pulled the trigger. So right now I'm just kind of in a holding pattern on that. But the Roto Boss, was it called Talon? I think in it.
Yeah, they have a few, and they're going to be at the next level maker event too. So
yeah, the Talon's really tall and it's got plenty of adjustments that you could do it with, and I'm guessing the AP. I'm guessing that's going to be the orange CO2 laser. And with that one, you should be able to have plenty of room for a taller rotary.
Jack says he would review a number 2 pencil if they send it to him. I'm
What
going to need
about
your address, Jack, and I'm going to send you an.
What about a pencil sharpener and the pencil? This is like a right-handed and a left-handed pencil, so it works for either. It's ambidextrous. Works for either one. You just have to sharpen a different end. But this pencil sharpener is really works good. It holds the flat pencils and makes it round. It's pretty genius. I'm gonna be honest with you. I usually use my knife to sharpen them, but this one's got like a nice rounded sharpening on it now. Those came with my bags for my dust collection the other day.
Lance is wondering how's the apiary power station working out.
I like it. I mean, I don't use it as much as I probably should. I used it at Peach Jam. It worked great. I used it the other day here around the yard doing some stuff before I bought myself a battery-powered shop vac. And I've used it here in the shop as a battery backup, and it does a good job. So, I mean, it's fixing to get some more use when we start doing the band practice and stuff, because when we go to like these band competitions, kids are needing to charge phones. You're needing a fan to keep, let them cool off and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to use it more in the next couple of months. But the solar panel was pretty impressive. I just wish I had a way of like mounting them instead of just having to unfold them. But I used it at Peach Jam, and during the day while the sun was up and I wasn't in the shade, like it was providing enough power to run my whole booth just off of the battery being continually charged by the solar panels. Like there were times where I was consuming more than I was making, but then when I wasn't engraving anything, it would make more than I was consuming. And so it averaged out, and I wound up getting like, until it got dark, that's when I started losing voltage then, because it was like, okay, no sunlight to charge it. So I had to put the solar panels up. And at that point, I'm just consuming. But I did have my generator to where I could crank the generator and charge it up if I needed to. But I had my generator running, but I only had my fan that I used to cool myself with. I had it running on the generator. But everything else was running off the Fury. So I like it. It's really handy.
Can make coffee in a pinch when you need to.
I know Steve used one similar to it on his camping trip the other day and made some coffee.
Well, I did. I had loaded up some other stuff to have fun with if I had more time.
Is that an F2 there, sir?
What's that?
Is that an F2 in that box?
Yeah, that was the X-Tool F2 and some stuff. And so sometimes I like to bring that when we go places. Like we've stayed at some Airbnbs, or like some family friends of ours own a small group of cabins up on Lake Superior that called Gooseberry Cabins. I did a whole video of that a couple of years ago when we went up there, and I like to bring it with just to maybe create a gift for the host or whoever, so yeah, I was going to hopefully do some engraving with some stuff from Minneopa, but I just didn't get a chance. But those work well for that. Make a nice little portable setup, set it up on the picnic table or whatnot, and have a little fun at the campsite. But no, they are very handy. I've done road trips with the van, and I have a DC powered cooler, so it acts like basically like a miniature freezer. Much better than worrying about ice all the time. And so especially when I have two of these, I'll run it off of one. I'll switch it usually over to the car power when I'm driving, but when I'm parked anywhere, I'll just have it plugged into one of these, and then I can swap out the battery units, whichever one needs to be charged overnight. If I'm staying at a hotel or something, I'll bring that in with me and top it off. But very handy to have those for, especially if you're doing events, but even just for general life. I even had one situation where I have a electric pole saw for trimming trees, small branches of trees. Well, it's not battery operated, so you need to have a cord. Well, I had a tree that was just, I'm like, I do not want to string out 3 extension cords for this thing. So I brought the unit over there and just had a short extension cord and lopped off the things. And so, yeah, they're very handy to have. So,
yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Like I said, I've got the Fury. I keep it, like, it's in my trailer at the moment, but typically I keep it charged up. I was using it as a battery backup for the Eufy, but when I went to do Peach Jam, I had to have it for Peach Jam, and so I wound up getting another, just a small battery backup for the Eufy that I'm using. And I had to go buy another one today because I moved my computer away from my network devices, so I had to get another one today. But yeah, the battery backups they're nice to have for traveling, but they also can be handy in the shop, making sure that if power goes out or flickers, you don't mess up an engrave or something. So it can kind of be dual purpose. If you don't have a need for it like all the time, you can actually put it to work in your craft room or your shop or whatever. So
now he's asking about the flashing light with the logo. Is that a mirror?
Yeah. Maui, I put a link down below, but yeah, that's a mirror right there that I did a long time ago. I dropped the link in the chat down there. It's one of my better videos I've ever done. I've been trying to recreate that one. It's gotten 195,000 views. So I don't know how. It just worked out. I did that mirror. I actually engraved the mirror with the We Create. What was it? The first one, I think it was the. What was that thing? What was it called? We Create Vision, because it was at the time it was the first one, so it was just the Vision. But that's the machine I used to do that with. But yeah, that video's almost at 200,000 views, which is insane. But
Maui's also asking, how do you cool your shops? There's a scorching. Well, I have a video out on what I've done recently. It's a little less invasive than a mini split, but I found it to be fairly effective because it's a dual duct portable air conditioner. And I've got it's about a 24 by 30 foot shop. Now mine is very well insulated, and that helps a ton to help keep it cool. But this unit has been doing well. Like I say, earlier today, it was 83 degrees in here, 65% humidity. And over the course of the past 3-4 hours, I mean, it dropped it down to about 75 within 45 minutes. And now it's down to 70 over there and 73 over here. So,
yeah.
But you can check out that video, and it'll give you some ideas on maybe a less invasive way. But if you really have the time, money, and the investment to spend in your shop, a mini split is going to be the most efficient and give you probably the best cooling option out there.
Yep. Ray Watts is saying, have either of you seen the rotary and riser from Alien Cell? I've saw some of the materials on it, and I know it exists. And they said that they would be sending some out, but I don't know what the timeline is on that. So I'm supposed to, if as long as nothing happens, I'm supposed to be getting one. I think, aren't you? You getting one too, aren't you?
I don't know. I mean, they've talked about a number of things. I believe they are going to be sending me their air purification unit, because I told them, like, hey, now that I'm conditioning my space here and also in the winter, it would be nice not to dump it outside.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I know they've been. I think I saw something like on their support page or something that had like a picture of the riser. So I think they're getting close to having them out, but haven't seen it in person yet.
Yeah. Now I know they're still working on it, and it is definitely on their radar. I just don't know when we're going to be getting it.
Don's asking for UV printing on items. Is it better to use a white finish or black for, say, like photos? To get a quality image out of it, you're going to need a white base. So if you can start with something that's white, that's going to help. But even that, I've still had the printer lay down its own white, just for consistency's sake. Because like if I print on a canvas, you'd think, hey, the canvas is white, I don't need to have a white base. Well, if it doesn't have any other colors over that, it might not print in that area, and then you might have a mismatch between your sheens. Now you can always have that top clear coat layer put on to help, but yeah, you always want to have a white base to really get vivid color and contrast coming out of your photos. Otherwise they tend to be a bit muted.
Yeah. Southern Laser Craft says, have you seen the videos where they use a 56 volt, 100 amp hour LiPo 4 battery with solar panel connectors and plug the solar input to charge the power station? Not that specific. I don't guess I have, but the Afuria one that I have does have solar panels, and they work pretty good. It was 100 watts generally in full sun. They were inputting 100 watts back into the system. And so there was times where I was only consuming 80 watts, and it was creating 100 from the sun. So it gives you a little bit of a surplus. But then there were other times, of course, where it would peak up to 120 consumed and 80 from the sun if it was a little shadowy or whatever. So.
And Jake says, a shout out to both of us for the tip on cleaning a 3D bed with LA Awesome. I've not had any issues sticking to the plate since then. So
good deal.
Yeah. Cleaning the build plate. LA Awesome works. Dawn works. And basically it's a degreaser. It's taking away the oils left by the previous filament, or if they're built up too much from using the same filament, or your grubby little hands got on there and left marks. Yeah, so you're trying to remove those oils and everything from the build plate. So LA Awesome is a good one. Dawn dish soap is a good one. Simple Green is another one that would work well. So glad that's working and helping you out with that. So nothing worse than failed prints from adhesion issues. So
yeah, that's got, because when I had my printers in the house, I used to just take them to the sink and use some Dawn, just a drip of Dawn, and I just wipe it down really good with a clean, unused cloth and rinse them off with really hot water, and I was good. But now that I'm out here in the shop where I don't necessarily have a sink, I've went to a microfiber cloth and LA Awesome, and I haven't had any problems. Even with the Super Tax, it works good with them too. So
cool.
So if you don't have water, then LA Awesome is definitely an advantage when it comes to that. Rob Wilson said that video on that mirror was the first video he ever watched, and I hooked him. That's good. That's good. Yeah, that video was an anomaly. I haven't been able to recreate it since. That's the way it happens, though. You have that one video, and you're like, "What did I do? Let me try to redo it." And then you spend the next 10 years trying to redo it, and you can't.
Yep. Jack
said Dawn dish is the best. Yeah, it's good, but like I said, LA Awesome's got me because I haven't had any, and until I start having issues, that's my go-to. And I've been printing a lot lately and haven't had any issues. I just had to order. Matter of fact, where is my order from Bamboo? No, I got it in. Never mind. I forgot. I got to where I had to order filaments that aren't often. I forget.
Yep. Well, we're about 2 hours, 10 minutes.
Moist is so hot my Bigfoot shrunk. Or it won't fit. Now, are you using the XL? Because there's reason I include two pieces. One's the standard, the other one's the XL. If you're using the standard and it don't fit, then you definitely need to pop that out of there and use the XL. But be careful, don't break it, because it's a tight fit once you snap it together. If it's not fitting some other direction, let me know, because I haven't had any problems with any of them fitting. So unless it's one that you printed. Now, if you printed it, then that's on you. But if it's one that I shipped, let me know if it's a physical product that I shipped you, if there is a problem. But there's an XL and a standard part in there. For some reason, X-Tool, when they first released the RA3, they made it this size, and then shortly thereafter, they made it 1 millimeter longer. Like when you set it in there from left to right. And so I had to create 2 different pieces for that, so that depending on which one you had, you can use the XL with either one. It's just going to have a little slop in it. But yeah, if you got the file, then you might want to check your printer.
Randy's asking any issues with coatings or whatever on build plates if I use 99% IPA. I think the problem is that IPA breaks down the materials, but it doesn't necessarily like pick them up and wipe them away. So it's easier for there to be a residue kind of left. It also evaporates really quickly, so it'll kind of break it down, and as you're wiping away, it also evaporates. Whereas, you know, a lot of the degreasers and such tend to break it down and grab it and kind of hold on to it as it gets wiped off. So that's where we'll actually use a degreasing cleaner to do the job rather than the alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol is really volatile. Like you don't get but a few seconds to clean with it, and it's gone.
Yep.
It's great for electronics.
Yep. So, anyhow, any final thoughts or questions?
Yep. 2 hours and 12 minutes. 2 hours and 12 minutes. So what you got planned? We're gonna give y'all a few seconds there. What else you got planned this week? You gonna be doing any more camping, biking, anything like that?
Well, if the temperature cools down, and so we're under a heat warning today, a heat advisory tomorrow, and I think then finally it breaks and gets a little bit cooler. Yeah, what I want to do is there's a bike ride I do that's about 20 miles. It's got some hills. It's got, you know, it's mostly on trails, but I hit 3 parks, and there's a city park, a county park, and a state park. And so yeah, I'd like to get out and do that, and maybe this time I'll get some video footage of it and talk a little bit more about why I like the e-bike and such. This fall, before it gets too cold, I actually want to try to do a bike camping trip. And so I need to kind of test the range of the bike and how I can maximize that. I do have an upgrade to do with it to add a secondary battery and such. So that's all for the second channel. But for this channel, like I say, I got to get that Sculpt Fun video done. I'm going to be trying to button up the dust collection on here so I can kind of get my first stuff with the Onefinity out. And I know I'm trying to get the rotary stuff done on these 2 as well. So definitely lots of shop time with some things like that coming up as well. How about you?
Well, this week, like I said, I'm going to be trying to get my stove covers knocked out because I've got a couple of them that's been on the board for a little while because I got a little behind being out of pocket going to, you know, Minnesota for a week or almost a week. But I got that. And other than that, machine-wise in the shop, I don't have any reviews. Just kind of quiet as far as like jobs right now. I've had a few things people wanted me to do, but it was jobs that it wasn't something I could make money on. People sometimes, I don't know. They're like, hey, can you make this? I'm like, well, yeah, absolutely. And they're like, well, how much is it going to cost me? And I tell them, and they're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they don't realize the work that goes into it. They want to send you an AI image and expect you to be able to make it for like $20. And it's like, that's the design alone is going to cost you more than $20. Yeah. So right now I'm just kind of in a lull with that, trying to get caught up on all the stuff around the house. My daughter has been going to band camp. She's got band camp all week. And so that's one reason why I've kind of like throttled back, is because I'm having to leave in the middle of the day and drop her off and stuff. But I do have the e-bikes coming this week. Like I said, the one is one that I purchased with my own money. Like it's me. And so I'm going to be playing around with that one. But I've also got the one that when I was looking at buying one of their bikes, they ended up sending me a different one. So I'm gonna play with it. I'm gonna do a video for it because they're like, hey, this is all we want is just, you know, XYZ. And so I'm like, okay, that's easy enough. And so it's just gonna be a general, you know, hey, this is a new bike, this is what it does, and this is what I think about it type video. So I'm gonna be playing around with that. But I'm like you, I've been trying to do better health wise. If you've watched any of my videos lately, you've noticed that my side profile is a little thicker right here around my belt than what I would like for it to be. Everywhere else, I'm okay. So I've been trying to do better. I've done a little more dietary controls, and I'm going to try to do, I'm hoping, you know, getting out and riding the e-bike and stuff like that will help with that as well. Plus, like I said, I used to, like, we had police bikes, and I used to do the bicycle thing in the park with the police department and stuff like that. And I like riding. I used to do it for exercise. And I've always, you know, ran, because being in law enforcement and stuff like that, I've always ran and PT'd and so forth, so on. But my doctor has strongly recommended that I not run with my back issues that I've had. Not that I have a problem now, but it's kind of like a set of shocks on a car. You know, if you know your shocks are a little weak, don't go jumping ditches. So I don't want to blow out a shock. So one of the things that he has said is, you know, a bicycle or walking would be a better fit for me if I wanted to exercise. And so we're going to see, long as I can handle it. And with the e-bike too, it gives me a little more freedom of, I don't have to worry about getting 4 miles out. And, you know, if my back does start bothering me or my knee or whatever, you know, I can use throttle and get back. You know, I'm not going to be stranded. So I think that's going to be kind of my view on it is, you know, helping fill the blanks. And so I can get my strength back in my legs, because since I can't run like I used to. So that's going to be my big focus with the bikes, is just, you know, the versatility and the exercise. And, you know, 50 something years old, trying to stay in decent shape. So we'll see how that goes. But
yeah,
that's about it.
The nice thing about the e-bikes is that, at least the electric one, it really allows you to adjust. You know, it's got 7 gears to it for pedaling, but it also allows you to adjust the amount of assist. And so I often have it down in the lowest assist mode, so I'm still working. But when I get to a hill that, you know, maybe is a little more strenuous or whatnot, and I think I've mentioned before, you know, I hurt my left knee years ago, and as you get older, those things start coming back to bite you. And so you can kick that assist in. And the whole point there is that instead of me going out and in 3-4 miles in 20 minutes, I'm tired because I hit a hill or something like that, I can get it longer. I can get that hour and a half. And for me, it's the cardio, right? You know, it's keeping that heart rate up with a little bit of strength with, you know, doing the pedaling and such. I'm not out there just pegging the throttle and enjoying the ride. I'm trying to, like you say, it's low impact, get out and enjoy more. And well, you can start off with a higher level of assist, and then as you condition, then you back it down a little bit. And that's kind of, or vice versa. You start out with not a lot of assist, and you tire yourself out, you can still get your butt home.
Yeah. So it like I said, I haven't got to use one, but I have consumed a lot of videos, like trying to make a decision. And like I said, but every time I was thinking about trying to get a different one, I kept thinking to myself, Steve's done told me which one he picked. And if I pick any other one and I have any kind of problem, I'm going to have to hear, I told you so. So I am going to have the electric one is going to be my carrying places for right now, because the other one's just too big. Like it's 100, I think it's 100 pounds, 97 pounds. The other one is. It's a fixed bike, so you can't fold it or anything. I'm going to be able to put it in the back of the truck, but you know, it's not going to be like the electric where you can fold it up and slide it in the back floorboard or nothing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really thinking it's going to be fun, but it is definitely your fault that I got the electric one straight up. I did get a different color. and I'm gonna make me some UV printed stickers for it. That's one reason why I wanted to get my my Eufy up and going, because I had the Eufy out here, and the cat hair that had gotten in that thing sitting over here. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad it's inside now. I blew it out with the air hose really good, and it is inside. And I did a test print earlier, and all is well. So we're good. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Stay tuned. Yeah. Knees are shot. Yeah, mine's not shot. I broke a tendon, had to have it put back together. So, you know, that does tend to limit your ability to use that leg for a little while. That's it. We'll see you guys next week. We've got 3 more before we head to Texas. So if you're not going, or if you are going, don't forget, me and Steve will be at the Next Level Maker event. Is it before we go? It's 4. Huh.
2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd. There's 5 Sundays in August.
Oh, okay. That's why. I was fixing to say. Yeah. Well, about 4 more lives before we go. So y'all stay tuned. And I'm going to be taking, I know I've got one machine that's already spoken for that I'm going to be taking over to Texas with me. And there may be more, but I'm going to be getting doing a little shop clean out myself. So other than that, y'all have a good one.
Yeah, we'll see y'all. Stay cool.
Or hot.
Try to stay cool.